Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today, this will be the first lab, and we're going to introduce the, how to construct the removable appliance, orthodontic appliance. First of all, we will introduce the material that we are using. This is stainless steel 0.5 millimeter wire, and this is 0.7 millimeter wire. These are the main two wires that you are going to use through the year. Also, we have many type of pliers and cutters, but mainly we are going to use this type of plier. This is we call it Adams plier, and we can see here that it has two beaks. One of them is round cross section and one is square. Okay, we always instruct the students to use the round beak for all the bends. If you want a small bend, we can use the tip of the beak. If you want a big large bend or loop, we can use down to the larger part. Okay, the way you grasp the plier is very important. You have 3 fingers on the plier from outside and the palm of your hand from the inside. Then you put this finger here so you can open and close easily, and then the thumb will be on the other side. So this way you will be in full control of the plier. Okay. Now we'll proceed to the cutter. This is the cutter of the wire. You have 2 types of the cutter, the straight and the right angle, and this is the right angle one. And very important to take note of the way that you cut the wire, because we don't want the part of the wire to flip in your eyes or in your friend's eye. So you need to always support the wire, the free end of the wire, with your hand. So if you are cutting this, you do that, and then you cut this part. If you are cutting this wire, then you support it with both ends, and then you cut it from the middle. Okay. Okay, now we'll proceed to the first work that you'll do in order to enhance your manual skill. We will have practical training set of bends that you will do. First of all, this wire is in arch shape, curved, so we need to straighten the wire. Very important is not to use the end of the plier to straighten the wire, because you will end up with like a stepwise wire, which we don't want. Now the way to do it is that you hold the end of the wire, and then you grasp the wire and slide your fingers slowly to the other end while pressing in the opposite direction of the curve. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and keep doing that until you reach a state of the straight wire. Okay. One way of checking if the wire is straight is to put it on the table and try to roll it, or just by holding in hand and looking at it from different angles. Now this one is not very much so straight, so we keep on straight in the middle part of it. Of course, we will not ask you to have it like 100% straight. This amount of straight wire will be very much so useful and enough. Okay. Now the first exercise is this, and you will have a point for it, and the second will be a 90-degree angle from the middle of the wire. So you grasp the wire like this, and as we said, to the round beak. All the bends should be going to the round beak, so you hold it at the very end of the plier. Okay, then the way to do the bends, the easier way, is to put your finger. This will be pushing the wire away from you, and also your hand that hold the plier will be rolling. So this is the movement. Okay, this is the movement. And don't hold the wire from far away, because it will curve. Not even from here, just straight next to the beak. So doing this and then start to roll around till you reach a 90 degree, and check. This is slightly more than 90 degrees. So check and check again, and this is nearly 90 degrees. And you can see that the bend is, although it's sharp, but it's still rounded, and this will reduce the possibility of weak point and fracture of the wire in the future. Okay, so that's the first job done. Now we move to the second job, which is doing a simple coil. Yeah, okay, 180 degree coil. So you will do like the wire, this wire is going to coil around the beak and then go straight again. So straight wire with a coil on it. And the way we do it is that the diameter of the coil should be determined at first before starting the bending. So if you want a 3 millimeters coil, of course, because it's stainless steel and it's flexible, if you do it on the plier 2 millimeters, you'll end up with 3 millimeters because it will recoil back. So you find the place that is 2 millimeters, and then you hold the wire from this place, which the cross section is 2 millimeter, and then you start doing the same move that we had here, then right. Okay, so now we reached like a U shape, and now what you do is that you rotate the plier easy, keep it in the same place, and then either depends on the direction that you want to bend the wire to, either go up above the other end or below the other end. This will be very important in constructing finger spring and Z spring and double Z spring. So you need to keep in mind where are you going to bend the wire, above or below the other end. Okay, so let's say below, then you immediately return to the nearest point. Okay, and keep on rolling, sliding, rolling, and here we go. Okay, okay, so that's a rounded coil. Inner diameter is about 3 millimeters as we designed. Okay, and you can see that the quality of the spring of the coil, that both ends here are very tightly close to each other. We don't want them to be opened, because if they are opened, the body of the spring or the coil will be loose, and we will not have the force that we want out of it. Okay, so that's the second job, and you will have marks on this. So now we'll continue to the third, which is having this coil, and then we continue to have 270 degrees. So we go on and press on the end, and here we go. So now what's happening is that the coil is turning round and then go not straight, but in more than in 270 degrees. Now there may be something like this. We have this coil, but we see that this end is a little bit out of the curvature of the coil. So the way to solve this problem is to hold the wire like this, and then just try to tuck it in. Okay, perfect. The coil are the same size, not one small and large, and the direction is straight out of the coil. Okay, so that's the second, that's the number 4 job. Okay. Now we have special. Now you finish the requirement for the first lab, but for those who have a high manual skill, we usually do this competition just to know who is good. Pause. Okay, now this is a special requirement only for those who have an excellent manual skill, so we'll test them and you'll see who's better than who. So the requirement is to make 3 vertical loops. Each one is 3 millimeters wide and 5 millimeters high, okay, along the wire. For this, we will need to start from here and then have the smallest part of the plier, and then start by bending 90 degrees. Okay. Then you put it on the floor and check it's okay. All parts are touching, and then you measure 5 millimeters. Okay. You can estimate 5 millimeters, or you can use a ruler, so your work could be more precise. So we use your ruler, and then you can mark 5 millimeters high, and then you use the plier to do it. Now I'll tell you a trick. If you are using, planning to make a loop 5 millimeters, then the point of the start of the loop should be less than 5 millimeters, because you are spending a distance to the top of from the start of the loop to the top. From start to the top, if you are doing 3 millimeters, then it will be 1.5. So roughly we'll put it at 3.5 or 4 millimeter. Okay, and then we will start. Now check that this one is 90 degrees, and then we start to do the loop all around the wire until you reach 90 degrees. Okay, check every step that everything is touching the floor, so you're not going away. Then you put the plier this way, 90 degrees, and then you do this, and here we go. Okay, now check again and see if you are going straight. Yes, and also if you are going the same height. Check on the floor, see if you are going the same height or if you're going straight. Okay, continue doing this 3 times and you will have straight full mark and extra point for next lab. Okay, now we finished. We knew the type of plier that we are using, how to hold it, and how to do wire bending. We knew the cutter, how to hold it and how to hold the wire safely. We had a look at the type of wires that we are using. So that's all for the first week, and good luck.